What's going on, everyone? I'm Matt.
And I'm Vanessa.
And today we're going to be talking about The Ticket.
The Ticket!
Which stars Dan Stevens, Malin Ackerman, and Oliver Platt, and tells the story of James, a blind man who one day regains his sight and begins changing his life. He believes he's doing what's best for him, but he may in fact be setting his sights on what is both materialistic and superficial. And I know already what many of you guys are thinking, what the heck is The Ticket?
What is it?
What is it?
I've never heard that before in my life.
Right? Well, actually, as a matter of fact, this movie did come out this past Friday, and much like The Void, it's getting a very limited release.
Very limited.
But it is available, well, in some theaters, somewhere in the world. Yeah. But it's also available to download and or watch online. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the main reason why we were both interested and why we wanted to watch this movie was for one very simple reason, and that reason is Dan Stevens. Yep, ever since, a few years ago when he came out in The Guest, I was like, this dude is good.
He's good.
He's good. And so, he showed up in The Last Night at the Museum film, Beauty and the Beast, and he was originally...
He was in Downton Abbey for quite a few seasons.
We've
never seen.
Never seen Downton Abbey.
But that's pretty much how he was opened up to.
Yeah, most people know him. Yeah, from Downton Abbey. And now he came out this year in Beauty and the Beast, and then he did this film. And well, why don't you get us started off on this film?
I'm just gonna start off and say it's absolutely beautifully filmed.
It is beautifully
filmed.
filmed.
It's got some gorgeous shots. Really great settings, the lighting, the tone, everything kind of fits. Although sometimes strange angles, most of the time they're for effect, so it kind of works. Sometimes I'm like, why from this angle or
framed
something like that?
A little differently at times.
Then this scene kind of plays out, and you're like, oh, okay, that's why. So it works.
Yeah, and also what I think something you were telling me about was some of the effects that the film uses.
Yes.
In the very beginning, the opening of the film.
The opening effect I thought it was very clever, very good usage.
You don't even know what's going on at first.
So if you look, James is a blind man who gains his vision back. So the movie starts off black.
Yeah, and you're like,
then it gradually gets to him.
Yeah, you hear voices, but you're like, I don't see anything. Somebody restart the movie. I don't know if this is working properly. But yeah, and then it's slowly the light starts filtering in.
The blurriness, and then all of a sudden everything is clear and you can see everything. And I thought that was a fantastic effect.
Yeah, it's a tremendous effect.
That was great.
And as I already said, I mentioned the cast, but solid cast. Everyone does a great job. Malin Ackerman plays James's wife. Oliver Platt plays his best friend. And yeah, everybody does a really good job. And the movie, I thought, had a really good message that it was putting out there. You watch the movie and you're like, well, I've heard all this before. It's not a new message, but it's still really important. That's, don't turn your back on those people who have your back. Don't, do right by those who always do right by you kind of thing that the movie puts out there. And, in terms of the film, we see James, as I said, trying to better himself, through his job. He earns a promotion. He's trying to better himself at home with his family. But then once he regains his vision, he's doing these things, but then he really starts to change.
He kind of seems like he's losing his way. So, for me, I feel like this movie asks the question, is this realistic? If someone in a similar situation, is this how they would react? And I feel like he drastically changes. He turns materialistic, selfish, and I feel like I don't know if that's a realistic way because it's filmed. The movie is filmed from a realistic perspective, in my opinion. His job is not glamorous. Even his promotion isn't glamorous.
Yeah.
And I just think in the movie, I think he's just trying to make the most of his sight. He thinks that he's been missing out his entire life, so he needs to change everything or just change, I don't know, himself. And
the movie kind of tries to dig a little deeper. It tries to get these points across, what makes you happy, what's really important to you. But the problem with the movie is that it addresses all these topics from a distance. The whole entire time I was watching the film, I was interested, but I was never really engaged in the story. And to me, that's that's kind of an
Yeah.
issue. And it might have something to do with like what you were talking about, like the realistic approach that this movie takes.
It almost maybe like too subtle, too common. I don't know if common is the right word because it's a miracle to get your sight back after from being blind. So,
but they even addressed that in a really realistic, straightforward way.
Yes.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it wasn't. They have a reason behind everything. So
yeah. I mean, the film it's really kind of one note. I mean, there's like one really powerful scene where James breaks down, and you get a great moment with Dan Stevens, and he reminds you why he's an actor that's on the up and up. But that's pretty much it. Everything else is just really straightforward. There's no swells in this movie, and what I mean by that is like a lot of movies will have its ups and its downs. This movie starts right here and just stays right there, one note the whole entire film, and that's what I mean. It keeps the audience at a big distance, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And it's pretty monotone. I would agree with you. That never really pulls you in to the point where you don't want to stop watching it. But you're never like incredibly bored.
No, I would never say that. Like I said, I was interested in the film. And the movie's only an hour and a half long. It's not a long movie, and I do have an appreciation for slower paced films. Films that take its time. But this one doesn't allow you to connect, and for me, for that big reason, I ended up giving it a C minus, not a C minus, excuse me, a B minus. I know my grades. I do. At least I think I do.
Maybe. Is it a B minus?
A B minus.
Yes.
It'll be somewhere right there. You'll know. Yeah.
Over here. I am giving it a C, and that is because it is monotone, and because they had a lot of opportunity to pull you in, to grab you, to get that emotion. There are scenes that I felt like should have been deeper, and not because the acting was lacking, but just because they didn't embrace the moments, the music, the set. Something did not fit in that moment, so it didn't feel. And I guess it's because, if you're taking a realistic approach, are you really going to get the violin playing at the right moment? But, maybe that's...
I think maybe the movie just kind of missed its mark. But I'm not really to defend my grade, but I did think everybody did a really good job in the film.
Acting is great.
I do really like Dan Stevens, and I do appreciate the message that the movie is putting out there. I will say that. I also really like the ending. Not to give anything away, we don't spoil anything here, but... It's ambiguous. It's open-ended. You don't really know what happens, and I do appreciate that as well. But I'm with you. I'm glad that I at least watched The Ticket. I am glad, but I don't think it's a film I'll be revisiting anytime soon. I do think though that if you're a fan of Dan Stevens, you might. I don't know. It might be worth your time to check it out.
I mean, and for nothing else, it's only an hour and a half, and you won't be curious about it anymore.
I'm just thinking, people are going to watch and then be like, I want my hour and a half back. Give me my hour and a half back. I'm just kidding. No, in all seriousness, though, I do think it is worth checking out at least once. It is a very interesting movie. It does, I'm beating a dead horse, but it does have a good message. However, I do think that most people who sit down to watch it will either be bored or will have the same feeling that I had where there's just no connection to it. But yeah, of course... I think that's it. So, Thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate it. If you have seen The Ticket and you don't want your hour and a half back, let us know.
Or if you do,
we don't give refunds. we don't give refunds. But thank you guys. As I already said, we do appreciate it. Of course, if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you want to see more of our awesome, fantastic movie reviews, hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will see you guys next time.